Hello. Good morning to you all. All right, guys. So, in this video, it is going to be a two series, two parts. Part one will be our market analysis, and part two, we're going to be talking a little bit about the SaaS like structure of Clover. Talk about how they've mentioned it even before this whole SaaS thing came about, and whether or not it will happen by May. We'll see, right? We'll talk about that in part two, and we'll do our support and resistance and so on and so forth. Okay, so first off, this is a different background, as you guys noticed. This is a whiteboard. I was gonna put like you see these little spots here. I was gonna put like a little face here or something, but yeah, we might do some instruction on here. I'm thinking of getting a smart board, but our YouTube studio is being set up right now, and it's taken some time, but things are gonna look really great. So this is in the meantime, we can have a chat here. Okay, so uh, yeah, so what I was thinking of doing right now is doing our market analysis. Now, a lot of people are sometimes they say, well, hey, this is not related to Clover Health. Well, I guess directly related, this part of the section, honestly, I would argue that. I think it's very related. In fact, every stock in your portfolio is related to what I'm going to be saying right now. And for you to be, understand the market and if you don't understand these types of components, then just invest in an index fund and go enjoy your life. Call it a day. But if you want to go in and understand the market because all of the top tier day traders, if you guys are day traders, they know all this stuff. Okay. Long-term investors, of course. So my job here is to help you guys break this down, also supply you the data, right? Because that can be a burden for some folks. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing now. And by the way, thank you so much. Thank you. No, not to that. That's tough. We will get out of the this brutal market soon. There are a couple things that need to be met, but thank you for this one. I appreciate that. Not for the market. Thank you. No. All right. So what do we have here? So you guys, let's share this here. So what is this here? What is this? So this is the AA2 bull sentiment. Okay. Now what this does is it basically tells you, if you were to ask retail investors, how do they feel in the market? Their answer would be that right there. The market is brutal, can't get a break. That's exactly what we see at these low levels right here. They hit the lowest that they've hit in an extremely long time, about 15.8% below the 20% here. And what that tells you is that retail investors are essentially fed up. The stock market is like, I don't even want to think of the future. And this is good because this is a contrarian form of measurement. You see, for people that go in the all-in podcast, Chamath was saying how if you do opposite of retail, you'll win money, right? And every time this thing hits, it tells you that retail is just on their knees. And sadly, that's when you buy. Okay, so it's terrible, right? But this is a great indicator to tell you that in the next 6 to 12 months, we may rally. However, we can't just look at, for people that know this, you can't just look at only one indicator. You gotta look at a lot of them. And you gotta take a bunch of indicators and formulate your freaking investment thesis, which is like this round ball filled in with all of these graphs together, inserted in your brain. Hopefully I can take it and insert it through yours in this YouTube channel and video. Okay? So the problem that we have is that there's some key factors that are working against the stock market. You got inflation, rising interest rates, high valuations, and poor price trend action that are basically plaguing the market. I mean, just recently, Netflix took a huge dive. Bill Ackman lost $400 million. Right after I made that video, I'm like, oh, let's see what Bill Ackman does. And boom, he liquidates his position because they need to change their business model. Anywho, there's a lot of bearishness in the market. However, this is a good indicator that tells me that we are close to a bottom. We are close to a bottom. All right. So there's that. So what does the data say, though, in the long term? So in 6 months to 1 year, we have a win rate. So from 6 months to 1 year, we have a win rate of 97% here to 94% that the S&P will rally 12.24% and 19.65%. Okay? That's bullish, right? In the short term, it's a little foggy. Okay? However, in the same time, we have to look at the 10-year federal note and other economic indicators that spell out that we may be in for a recession. We'll talk about those too. The 10-year rolls over, most of what we do today will pay off. Absolutely. Again, Warren Buffett, and I'm sure whoever's on this call, I'm very proud. I mean, I like to stick up my chest. I'm very proud of our private Discord channel. I'd like to believe we are attracting the smartest of smartest investors that come in our Discord channel. I mean, I swear to God, these people are so smart, and I love each and every one of you guys. Together as a community, really an extension of our reality goes into this whole internet thing, and together, we're really. I think we can take out each and every financial advisor out there. We're not advisors, but together with our own due diligence, we can come together and really find some amazing stocks. Okay, so with that said, going further, we got the natural gas optics. Are like, why am I talking about natural gas? Well, yeah, hey guys, crude oil is up at its top highest peak. Now, I know it's increased because of political movements, but for people that are in oil, understand when we hit these peaks here, as you can see here, it's time to sell. You see, what most retail investors do is, unfortunately, that meme where you got like two lines. One is a lifestyle change and the line's empty, but the other line is you got to take a pill and that line is long. Well, that's retail investors, right? They like to go to the most fastest option, the where the stock is literally going at, or commodity is going at its highest it's ever been. You see, guys, this is a definite problem here because this could go down just like that, and all it takes is for Russia to say, "All right, we're done," right? Or Ukraine works out some agreement. Now, I don't see that so far, but understand that it's getting a little risky at these levels, okay? And we are entering the summer months. Now, if this war extends out to the winter, which I doubt, then this will get higher. Okay, so there's the natural gas optics. Now, in terms of the margin debt and growth, when you want to look at this graph, this looks at all the margin accounts out there. For all the Robin Hooders, I like to track the margin on all of them. They've been going back and forth. Sometimes they offer a Clover margin, and then the next couple of days they take it off. I don't know if you've seen that. Don't get tricked. Don't bite that. It's going to kick you out of the market and you're going to lose your shares. Okay. Be careful. All right. So here we are at levels of extreme, I cannot say this word. I'm a first generation, extreme pessimism, right? People are like, this is a great indicator. Remember, in order to win in the market is all about fundamental analysis, which is what we do, right? Our intrinsic value calculation, which you can find here at the Mastering Stock Market course. But a lot of this is psychology. The psychology of the market. And if you ascertain and understand the psychology of the market, which can be quantifiable, do you know how much power you have? Do you know how much power you have if you understand how to read the psychology of the freaking market? You literally, everyone who's getting emotional, you'll be able to smell it. And by then you can go in and add, it's kind of have like how like a tiger or a lion can smell fear. And again, this sounds a little aggressive, guys, right? But that's how you do it in the stock market. Whenever you smell fear, whenever you smell blood, that's when you take your capital, deploy it, and choke the shares and get them, right? That's really aggressive, right? But that's what it takes to succeed in business, okay? So what this tells me right now is retail is on their knees. I'm giving you guys this type of talk because this is exactly how these hedge funds think. Okay, this is let's bring them. So let's go back here to the sentiment here. Okay, it's a retail sentiment. Now listen, I think the market could go down a little further until it rallies up to maybe to that 6 to 12 months. But we do have an underlining recession coming, and it is coming sooner than what we expect. Okay, so now that we talked about the margin debt, this is called the New York Stock Exchange High-Low Logic Index. Now, for people that don't know what the hell this is, what is a high-low logic index? Literally right here, a high-low logic index. I'm going to explain to you what the hell this is. Okay, first let's go ahead and see if there's any questions here. I'm throwing cold at it. What's up? What's up? How you doing, Malish? Not tech, lol. Yeah, I mean, no, definitely tech has been. There is a depression of revenue multiples happening as we speak. So, what is a high-low multiplex? Okay, so sorry, high-low logic index. Okay, so what this is measuring is that first off, we're at all-time highs. Whenever we're at all-time highs, it is not good. It means that more than a certain amount of percentage, around 5% of the market, is at 52-week highs, and also another half of the percentage of the market is at 52-week lows, which means that we have some stocks that are performing extremely well at 52-week highs, and then some at 52-week lows, which I'm sure you've noticed. However, the market loves, or this index is very bullish when it's not like that, when it's one-sided, when it's flipped, when only one sector is at all-time 152-week highs, or at one sector is at, all sectors are at all 52-week lows. So in layman's terms, the stock market likes to rally when either everything is rallying or the stock market likes to rally when everything is crumbling. So the only way to get out of this mess is either everything crashes, which we're starting to see, PayPal, Netflix, Facebook, right? Or everything just starts to rally like crazy. I think the first one would be more likely. Okay, so there's that. Okay, I hope that explained that well. And as you can see, this was the 2020 pandemic. The high-low index ran, and then we went ahead and it was just a little overvalued. And look at it now. Ran up here. So it's a great indicator. It's great for short-term traders. Now we're going to switch to economic projections, okay? In order to understand the market, you need to understand history. Again, this may seem boring, like a lot of the stock market YouTubers out there, a lot of them are not talking about these things because it's boring. But again, if you want to become a stock market trader, a day trader, swing trader, a long-term investor, you need to understand these things. These are what I'm trying to give you guys. And in our Mastering Stock Market course, it's going to be heavy into this type of detail. We're going to give you guys some education to where you will know more than an MBA, right? And I'll make sure of that, all right? So in terms of the SaaS, The SaaS discussion will be on the second part 2 video. I'm hoping it's not them because it's going to increase the stock price. And I want it at low levels so we can dollar cost average and scoop up these shares. I mean, we know we know the value. So, but anywho, now here is what is this here? Okay, so this is the federal funds rate in red and the headline CPI from 1954. I don't know if there's people even on this call that were born there. If not, if you guys are, raise your hand here in the chat. All the way to 2022. Now, the reason why we like to look at this is the federal chairman, Jerome Powell, talks about how he wants to come in as a soft landing, do little bit 25 basis point hikes, and slowly bring down and constrict this CPI. But the problem is, every time they've done that, there's been a recession, except these 3 calendar years that we found. Again, you got to study history. So back in the 60s here, the federal funds rate, they were able to see right here, they were able to tighten it and bring down inflation. See, inflation was here. They're able to bring down inflation with no recession. The reason why is this was in the reason why ultimately headline inflation started increasing along with the federal funds rate is because of the Vietnam War. Now, most people don't know wars and all that. Vietnam War happened here, which surged inflation, which is like a catalyst causing a recession, dropping everything down. So, yeah, I get it. They try to tighten here, no recession. But what, 2-3 years later, recession. So, does that really count? Again, there it is. The second date happened in the 80s, where Ronald Reagan was able to convince Saudi Arabia to bring down the price of oil. As you can see here, they were able to bring it down, the federal funds rate, as well as inflation, right? And it really put a grip on the Soviet Union as energy prices started to decrease. The problem is guess what happened? After, it took some time, 6 years, recession. Then we have another one in the 90s, and we all know what happened, dot-com bubble right after. All right. So, in conclusion, a recession is highly likely. We are going to end into a recession. Elon Musk talked about it in one of his tweets from a year ago, saying there's a highly probability of a recession. When Clover Health diluted, Michelle, can you stop? When Clover Health diluted, okay, back in November, everyone was like literally cussing them out. I was saying, no, this is good. They specifically stated that we believe the best time to raise money is before you need it. And reason why we're doing it now is the market is pretty strong right now, even though it felt pretty weak. Definitely stronger than we're in the market in right now. And they said that there's a most likely a recession in the future is coming. And I think if I were to map this recession out, I think it is going to be in the fourth quarter, the end of the fourth quarter of 2022, and the beginning first quarter of 2023. I believe once Tesla, I don't know how they're going to pull a Houdini to beat an 81% beat next year, but I think we may see some turbulence in the market. Another thing I wanted to point out and go in. Wait, let me look at the questions here quickly. Hello, did you miss my message above? I don't see your message. Can you retype it? It didn't go through. I don't see it. So you know how they talked about how they're going to be doing a 25 basis point hike? They're going to most likely do a 50 now. I think 50 is going to be the new baseline, okay? Just like, orange is the new black, right? The show. I think 50 is the new 25. All right. So there's that. So why are we looking at this right now? This is the federal funds rate. And the reason why I like to look at it is because the federal funds rate is, this is the 2-year treasury note. The reason why I like to look at this is usually the federal funds rate tracks at the level of the 2-year treasury note. So it shows me at what level are they going to be satisfied with a rate hike. Now, again, this could overshoot like it did here. But it seems to me that a 2%, 2.5% is approximate to what they're wanting to raise these, interest rates up to, right? From the federal perspective. Now, as we talked about in recent videos, for every 100 basis point increase, it is approximate of a 15 to 20% correction in the market. And you're starting to see that within stocks, especially the bigwigs of stocks. Okay. Again, this just replicates what we talked about. Remember the Vietnam War, Ronald Reagan in the 90s. As you can see, this goes out even further. Since 1921, I know no one is alive on this call born at that. If not, if you are, right on, right? Keep making money, right? You can see that the CPI here is every time we have an increase in CPI, this light blue here is a recession. So, it's very clear that a recession is coming. The question is when, and no one knows, but it's important to look at it because we have indicators that can see when the bottom of the recession has come into fruition. And we will keep you updated on that too. All right. So here is the personal consumption expenditure. And one thing I wanted to just make, these are the numbers here, the core and the headline. This is not CPI. This is the PCE. The Federal Reserve uses PCE. The problem with our dang government is that they don't like to use the most accurate data for rent inflation. Many of y'all who are renters understand that rents have been increasing faster than what headline inflation has been advertised. And the government does that on purpose, both ends of the government, regardless who's in office. They tend to use those because it makes them look better. Again, it's deceiving. I don't like it, but understand that rent inflation is lagging. And I don't think we have hit a peak just yet. Here is commodity prices. As you can see, they are at all-time highs. I mean, just look, we've never seen highs like this. And I don't think you could say they're good indicators of a recession because here here's they aren't really increasing that much here. But understand that this is going to cause problems in food supply chain issues. Emerging markets are going to have a tough time, and it's going to be tough. Here is the Atlanta Fed's median wage growth. As wage inflation continuously goes up, this puts a lot of pressure on employers to pay employees more. Likewise, as the rent goes up, workers demand an increase in raises to sustain their cost of living. Not even sustain their elaborative cost of living. No, just so people can have a freaking roof over their head. And, again, this is a pressure on the market. So it's very clear, based off of this data here, it's very clear that the Federal Reserve really printed a lot of freaking money during this pandemic. I mean, just look at the surge of that money. A lot of money. And with the whole Russia and Ukraine war, I mean, this is like literally Murphy's Law at its finest. Okay. So this concludes, so essentially this concludes what I have for you for the market analysis. Another thing that I want to talk about, and we've talked about them in past market analysis, we did have an inversion of the 10-year minus the 2-year. However, I told you that President Biden and leading economists and multiple hedge funds out there use the 10-year minus the federal funds rate, which signifies that there is no recession inbound. However, when those two start tracking together, there is going to be a recession, how that in the first time in history, we've never had a divergence where one's going up and the other one's going down. So all these are kind of at play here, but there's one thing and one thing only. If you do fundamental analysis, the growth of these companies, the stock price will eventually come into fruition. Okay. So there it is right there. One thing that I do want to mention here is that if you have not done so, let me increase this here so you can see. People normally gives out 2 free stocks. Now they're giving out 5. This is free money. All you got to do is deposit 1 penny. You will get 5 free stocks. I will get 1 free stock. And your free stocks will value anywhere between $27 to $9,600. Free money. And I'm going to put a link down below. All you got to do is sign up, deposit at least a penny to get all the other stocks. And that will literally, it's that easy. And yeah, so, and please comment down below. Tell me what stocks you got. I'm always here. I'm curious. Maybe we can do an intrinsic value calculation on them, and maybe we could say, well, is it a good hold? Should we sell? You know what I mean? Okay, now let's see here. Looks like if I put a link, YouTube doesn't show it in the chat. I was curious what you think about weird option chains for Clover. So we will do that in part 2. We'll look at the option chains. We have that access on our private Discord channel. Our AI is able to print those and give you real-time data. I got to look at more data on the SECs and to see what's going on. But it's very clear that a lot of the big wigs, Humana, United Healthcare, we just did Anthem yesterday's intrinsic value calculation. There really isn't that much excitement in the stock price. This is more of a value stock type deal, and it's overvalued in my humble opinion. It's just, let's put it this way, it's right at fair value. I mean, people are holding it because of the dividends, right? So this is honestly, Clover is the future, and there's no doubt in my mind that it's just at laughable levels now. Like it's going to be a win, right? So here it is. Will the midterm elections speed up or delay timing of the recession? I understand what you said. Not recession. Recession is medical, right? Right. End block recession. But yeah. So and I don't want to be political here, but the sad part is if you don't like talks about politics, then I don't think the stock market's for you, right? So the stock market really doesn't care who's in office. President Biden came in as someone who was going to be more in the middle, which is what America needs. Unfortunately, he came in a lot more progressive. For people that don't know what progressive means, and I know people across the United States, outside of the United States, listen to our videos here. Progressive, it's like very left, very, very left, almost not like a democratic society, more like a socialist society. And the stock market doesn't like that, which is why the stock market's been hurt by these types of things with the whole taxes and all. The stock market doesn't like that. So there's that part of it. Also, there's inflation. Now, if you don't remember, a while back, they wanted to do the Build Back Better agenda. That would have printed even more money. And we've already just talked about how they printed a lot more money, and any more, imagine what inflation would be. So it's something that I think that a red wave is coming. The writing is clear on the walls. President Biden's approval ratings are at all-time lows. The governor from Virginia, Governor Youngkin, clean out red, came into effect. If I had to, we also have Peter Thiel resigning from the board of Facebook, going into politics. He's a Republican, prominent supporter of Donald Trump. We have Senator Mark Kelly going to be fighting for his seat as Blake Masters, who is one of the students of Peter Thiel. and also Donald Trump will be endorsing him soon. Give it about a couple weeks. Donald Trump will give out an endorsement to Blake Masters, who's running for senator in Arizona, to take out Mark Kelly's seat. Honestly, it's looking like either Governor DeSantis or Governor from the Texas, Abbott, whatever his name is, could be running for 2024. I believe there is we call this out. The numbers speak for itself. We called this out a couple months ago when we said that Joe Manchin might run for president. I believe that President Biden, I believe the Democratic caucus will challenge him wanting to rerun again. And I believe Joe Manchin would, from the Democratic side, would come in. So it'll be a battle. In short answer, in terms of politics and stocks, I think a Republican win would cause the stock market to rally. It's just that's how it works. There will be a rally. A change from what Biden's agenda is would cause the stock market to rally. There's just it's looking like that. I mean, please prove me wrong. Not in a very aggressive way or me trying to act like a pompous piece of S. I just really want to know your opinion. And I believe the beautiful part of freedom of speech is sometimes I may not see something that you might see and you might teach me. So comment down in the chat if you disagree with me, because I'm just like you guys. I'm just trying to take all this in. There's a lot of data, right? And it's tough. So there it is. So if Donald Trump will become president again, will that be better for the stock market? Yeah. In short answer, yes. But in long answer for the country, a lot of Republicans are starting to backpedal. And when I say Republicans, Donald Trump made a new Republican form, a kind of a Trump Republican, if you may. And I don't think the country, at least from the great state of Arizona, I'm thinking about doing a run in the future with that. After Donald insulted John McCain, it's going to be very hard for him. Like for example, Ben Shapiro, he's I would call him a full-fledged conservative. He's definitely not wanting him to run. He wants fresh skin. Even former President George Bush, he wants the Republican Party to reinvent itself and just turn a new page. However, Ben Shapiro said that if Trump does run, he'll support him. What else are you going to do? But it does seem that former President Donald Trump will actually help the stock market rally. And he does that by charging other countries outside of the United States to make sure that they're paying their fair share, which ultimately helps the United States citizens, which ultimately will give them more money, which ultimately will be put back into the stock market. So in short, yes, but I know that this is a trigger for some people. I feel you. I understand. I understand. But I hope that in the consensus of business, it's very clear that Donald Trump, when it comes to this, he cares about the stock market. So that, in short answer, yes. You feel the same? Yeah. Again, it's very tough. Listen, man, I love Democrats. I'm independent. I love Democrats and Republicans. I love them all, dude. We represent, like, we're freaking amazing. I do think the two-party system is stupid. I think that we're all better than that. I think that we're so diverse that we shouldn't be putting ourselves in corners. I just want us to all come together and hug. You know what I mean? Like, we're so better, stronger. We're stronger together. And we don't need a freaking war or an attack on United States to bring us together. We shouldn't do that. We should come together right now. But, My philosophy is be a Republican in your brain and a Democrat in your heart. That's how I operate my businesses. That's how I operate my life. I take the best of both worlds. So that's just me. Okay. I'm a Dem myself, but Joe is really not for the country at all. Yeah, it's tough. A lot of Democrats are saying, wait a minute, hold up. I get that. Definitely, we thought he was going to be more moderate. In fact, I believe former President Obama is more moderate. He made a joke introducing President Biden as vice president, and that was Kamala was like, "What, boy, you know, yeah." Red wave. I listen. I give you my opinion. I think a red wave is coming. It's coming hard, and I believe David Sachs is the four horsemen in the front surging like, I think it is coming. Tech Nine, Red Kingdom. I remember watching a video about that. So, excuse me here. Excuse me. So, Donald DT as president would be a disaster. He will not even get nomination. And, that's what I speculate. A lot of Republicans are like, wait a minute. Let's back away. And, so, and I see that, Ben Shapiro shares your same philosophy. I know a lot of rural Dems that are hoping Liz Cheney runs. Maybe. Yeah, we'll take a look. I'll do a analysis on her. Yeah, exactly. And sadly, it shows you how a presidential election and how an administration can ultimately affect the markets, right? So I believe giving trillions to corporate America is the main cause we are where we are in our economy and financial systems. So this is great. This is a really, really great please come on more. And I love your inputs here. Okay, so this is great. So check this out. So I blame the government, right? The government is the problem here, okay? And I also blame us. The 2008 financial crisis, everyone had to blame. A lot of people were taking out loans they could not afford. And I ultimately blame the American system, which is brought to you by the politicians who established the rules and regulations of what is taught and not taught. And I believe that the 2008 recession could have been avoided if we would have taught people how to manage money. Essentially what we're doing at Al Stock Trades, and how to understand financial market movements, do intrinsic value calculations. I mean, imagine if you learned this in high school, what would it be? So we should definitely have like a political discussion on a different thumbnail, because I really like talks like this. I do think they're healthy and they're good. But corporate America, it's a double-edged sword. You want them rich because then they can essentially create jobs and innovate. If you don't give them an opportunity to grow, my friend, they will go to other countries, which is what we've seen in Chicago. And you've seen what happens in Chicago, right? I believe the gun rate is higher than that of Afghanistan. I mean, come on, right? So it's definitely tough. And the bailouts for, a good movie is Too Big to Fail. The bailouts for the bank sectors kind of inject capital. It was Warren Buffett's idea. We'll watch that video. Not The Big Short, but an analysis on all of them. It's on YouTube. Some banks needed it more than others, but they didn't want to single out those banks. But financial systems was at jeopardy. And a lot of like JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, I believe I say his name right. Sorry if I misspoken. I have a lot of respect for him. He actually said that the Obama administration turned against him, and he would not have taken that bailout money. He did it to save the country. And the sad part is he's right. So the blame is politicians. I believe that politicians shouldn't be doing insider trading. Like if I was going to run, which in the future that might be. If you guys know my story, you guys know, what the long-term goal is for Arizona. But what I would do is I would create legislation, and I would say no insider trading. If you're going to politics, there'll be term limits. And if you do a trade, if your family members, or if we do anything, you would have to report it the same day, literally the same day. If you don't have the time to report it, don't buy the damn stock. And every day you delay, you will get charged $10,000, and that $10,000 would go to vets, would go to active duty, would go into the people that serve this country. It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, this is great, right? Insider trading, they like to vote on laws and bills, and you saw Nancy Pelosi. Our Discord channel here. Let me just show you. If you go to Senate and House, you can just type in here. House as well. You can see what these senators, what stocks they sold, what they bought. Then you can click here to get more data. So yeah, it's just not fair. The system is so rigged. So anywho, there's that. Many people in Europe hate DT, but I think he was pretty good. Many people in US made more money in their pockets. It's true. I mean, the data speaks for itself. Now, how much of that is Obama's hard work? But it's very clear, though, because Obama did a lot of work in the background in 2000. Again, I'm independent. I like to look at, you know what I mean? I actually read the Constitution. You know what I mean? So it's in my blood, right? So, I read these boring things, but they are very important, But I do believe that DT, Donald Trump, did have a big, big, big impact on the stock market. It was just very clear. I'd spend a lot of money out of the economy right now if I didn't lose so much in the stock market. Exactly. People losing in the market makes them feel poor, and then that would essentially lead to a recession, or some sorts of that, right? With all the other things, inflation and all that. Yeah, it's very clear. Financial power corrupts. Absolutely. It's corruptive, which is why we need to regulate the politicians and hold them accountable. And we're going to try to minimize the lobbying, but understand what these big businesses need. So as a politician, we can support them, but most importantly, write legislation to help the people that pay taxes, the the citizens. What I don't agree on is how they have a 2,000-page document, and I actually it takes me time to go through them. But I'll tell you, how do they have those and vote on them when they only have 12 hours to read them? You can't read them that fast, and you can't retain that knowledge and sit down and think to yourself, how can this help the American people? And you don't know within those legislations that the person who wrote it was being paid after their politician career ends, that they're going to be paid millions of dollars in stocks if they write that down there. It's a corrupt system. All right. Whoever's president 2024 is going to suck to come to. Yeah, exactly. I think the recession is going to. I think 2025 will be good. But I think 2020. Listen, I hope the recession comes today. The faster we get through this damn thing, it's like the freaking, give me the needle. Just give me the shot. Just give it to me. Right? Just give it to me now. The USA needs to stop electing 75. Yeah, we do need some new blood. We do need some innovation. I agree. Term limits, absolutely. These are common things, but when people are in power, just like what SG said there, yeah, it's hard to get them out. So are blocked by corp. Exactly. And the stock market likes when things are blocked, right? Because then we can predict, right? So overall, we should do a political discussion. I think that would be really helpful. Talk about these things, but I do think it's related because it's affecting our portfolios, right? But yeah, America's still the best place to live in. A lot of people. When I was young, I was like, man, why does the world hate America? But it kind of makes sense. This is going to sound obnoxious. When you're at top, of course, people are going to hate. You're going to get your haters. But in order to stay on top, we got to continue being vigilant. We got to be hard workers. And we got to love in our system, and we got to trust in our government, and we got to bring that trust back. But how do you do it when you have corrupt politicians in office? So there needs to be some type of reset, and hopefully we can do it. I don't think he'll do it because 4 years is a long time. I mean, guys, listen, I work like an alcoholic, workaholic, not alcohol, right? Sorry. I'm a workaholic, guys, right? So I've spent 7 months on this YouTube thing. We built in this whole brain machines building. We built an intrinsic value calculator here. We built all of these things all in 6 months. Now, again, I have 10 years of experience. I'm able to kind of really zoop through it here. I don't have to teach myself crap. I've seen this all, right? But this is 6 months of work. Now with Elon probably can work 10 times as fast as I can. 4 years is a long time, and I don't think Elon wants to deal with that crap. I hope he does. He would fix this country. I'm sure he will. I hope he does. But knowing his brain and how he works, I think he'll be a better impact on society doing what he's doing now. By the way, Gunslinger, there's a hot sauce. There's a hot sauce named after you. It's really good hot sauce. Gunslinger. It's from Arizona. Halvey man, but the USA is poop for working class. I lived 10 years in Switzerland, and the quality of life blows it. Yeah. No. So again, so I'm in the healthcare arena, and the healthcare in Switzerland is amazing. In fact, you're right. You're right. I hate to say this, but they will always be poor among us. I don't want to believe it, but it's tough, man. I made this YouTube channel. I made this whole Al stock trades, just try to help retail. A lot of our members are starting to see, they're starting to cancel their subscriptions on other stock things and stick with us. Because first off, we're cheap as hell. And, but I mean, how much can you do? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, do you think a Hispanic, zero generation, cleaner cleaning multiple houses for her family, trying to feed her family, can't speak English, you think she can understand this stuff that we're talking about? You know what I mean, guys? It's tough. You know what I mean? It's hard. I wish we did better. I wish we educated people better on how to make money in the stock market. I mean, just look at this. If you know this here, this intrinsic value calculator, if you understand this, you are 99% better than anyone in the market. How sad is that? So hopefully through YouTube and kind of a decentralized way of learning, that's not bound by by money, loans, and FAFSA and all this crap, right? We could help change some people's lives for the better, but it's tough. So it's tough. I love hot sauce too. Also, Tulsi, I have a crush on her. I think she's gorgeous. She's really gorgeous. She's so smart, elegant. Also Kathy Woods, I have a crush on her too. I publicly can announce that. Right? I mean, who's with me, right? She's a fresh breath of air to listen to, and yeah, very beautiful. So, yeah. That would be a great ticket, honestly. Maybe we can do, we should invent a simulator Sims game to see how the country would be. That would be really fun. But yes, all in all, that's all we have for you here. Part 2 would talk about the SaaS-like structure, how that looked like if it does come to fruition. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping it's another company. I'm hoping, but it's hopefully, because then the stock would go up extensively. But yeah, there it is. Just one thing here. If you guys want access to our intrinsic value calculation, it'll be at alstocktrades.com. Also, if you want access just to our Patreon here, which gives you access to the Discord, which allows you to use our AI and all the data. You literally type something in and it gives you data. That's the power of Discord. That's why we were able to build the Brain Here machine and still charge $10 a month. It's cheap as hell. And it's for people that, just want to kind of get in there and, we want to make it accessible, right? And we have lifetime. And then the beautiful part is our Mastering Stock Market course here. It has a lifetime access to Al Stock Alerts if you just want just a lifetime. And make sure you use Save 50. But all in all, that's what we have for you today. But if there's one thing you want to take away from this, definitely one thing, if you haven't done so, it's going to end the end of April. They extended it. At first they had it for end of March and they extended it to April. They usually give out 2 free stocks. Now they're giving out 5, valued up to $9,600. It's free money. Gas prices are up. Rent is up. Food is up. Everything's up except your portfolio. So at least get some free money, okay? So there's that. I wonder what's the dark pool for. Yeah, let's see if it. Sometimes it doesn't pull up, but let's see if there's not a lot of data. If there's not no dark pool. So let's see. Let's do it now while we're here. You said IR and T. Yeah, so there's no dark pool. But let's look up any. No data found. We don't have any data. So there isn't any dark pool. But I'll tell you, there's other indicators that you can look at. There's all these things that you can do to look at. So you can look at options flow, and these are all the options flow for the symbol of IRNT. You can look at implied volatility. There's other dark pool commands you can search through, and support and resistance, insider trading, seasonality. There's just so much. Then here's the other one that we have, the robot commands here. This everything that you can do with this one. These are all commands, and then this is coming soon. This is our brain machine, which is how it looks like. It's a lot fatter now. It has a lot of detail, and beautiful part is you can put in a command here, like you want access to Clover Health's investor quarterly reports. And the beautiful part is it'll give it to you. You don't even have to search for it. Any stock you want. And it'll give you all this DD, all at a simple command. So that'll be Brain Machine. It's coming soon. It'll be included in the price. It won't raise the price. The only time we're going to have to raise the monthly prices on here, for everyone who's in, you'll be grandfathered. But we will have to raise prices if the vendors from Wall Street start jacking up prices. I hope that doesn't happen. But if it doesn't, we're going to keep it the same. But yeah, so there's this. But all in all, SoFi is still sharp to grab right now. But it does. We'll do SoFi. We'll do a video on SoFi for sure. We'll do an updated. We'll do the problem is, guys, is when I give you guys those videos, they're just sample videos. They're not they're not all inclusive. They're not they're not like all the commands. That will take much longer to do. So all our Patreon members, I mean, they're up here at nighttime doing their DD, and we have one person, Player One. He's amazing. Shout out to you, man. Where is this at? We have Community DD, where members can just sit down and
quick video,
post their DD.
Ad zone, take profit.
And what they do is they sit down here and they break down their DD, And, he's right in line. There's the resistance level. It's about to curve up with the MACD, RSI, all that. Looking at some financials here, using our AI here, and just everything to make their thesis and their argument. And they sit down here and they explain why they're doing what they're doing. And it's a great community. But it just takes time for the SoFi. So we'll do kind of a sample analysis of SoFi, but a more detailed would take much longer. And maybe someone's up for it. They can go ahead and do the community diligence. They can put it all here using our AI. But yeah. See here any profits here. Yeah, good. There's Elon Musk. All right, guys. All in all, pleasure talking with you. Pleasure learning from you. It is a privilege and honor. I hope that was helpful. Part 2, I think it'll come out in 48 hours from now. Part 2, we'll talk about SAS and do support resistance, all that good stuff. Get you ready for Monday. All right. God bless you all. I'll see you guys on the next one. And don't forget to subscribe. I always forget that. Hit that subscribe, like, notification bell, karate chop it. It helps this YouTube algorithm, whatever the hell is in there. It helps get the news out. Peace.